Hi guys, this is Niki Rowland, and today I have a layout for Hip Kit Club, this is for Mixed Media Monday, and I am using the June 2020 hip kits, which are absolutely gorgeous. I'm starting off, because it's Mixed Media Monday, I'm starting off with the colour kit. So I'm going to make a mixed media background, and would you believe I've started this layout 3 times already, and this is my 4th attempt, and hopefully this is going to work out. Well, I know it does because I've already made it. Yeah, I tried a few different things with the ink pads. I think the problem was that I was trying to use photos that are probably too big for what I was trying to achieve, so I just needed to adapt my design slightly to make it work. So the reason I'm using 3 photos is because there was a thread on the Hip Kit Club group on Facebook, and somebody mentioned that the design team don't scrapbook in 6x4 photos. I'm definitely guilty of that. I tend to use 3x4. That is a size that works for me. And somebody else also mentioned on the same thread that there's a lack of multi-photo layouts as well. So today I thought I would attempt to do both. So perhaps that was too much for me. I should have maybe stuck with just a 6x4 photo or with multiple photos rather than trying to combine the two. So that was why I had some issues with my design, but actually I'm really happy with the way that this layout turned out in the end, I'm glad that I persevered with the sized photos that I've got and the mixed media in the background as well. Okay, so full disclosure, my 6x4 photo is not a true 6x4, it's more like 5 by 3.5. It's just the way they print on my selfie. I like them to print with borders, and it means that they have to shrink them in order to put the borders on, so therefore it is smaller than 6x4, but it is a larger photo. And the other two are smaller than 3x4 as well. They're about 2 3/4 by 3 3/4, something like that. Again, that's the same reason they shrink them a bit in order to put the border on, so that's why my photos are not true to size. They are slightly smaller, but again it works for me, that's the size that I like to scrapbook in, the small ones, and it's something that works for me, so yeah. But it's nice to do something different, and it's nice to take on a challenge and get myself out of my comfort zone and do something different, so always worth a go, and I hope it does provide some inspiration for those of you who do want 6x4 photos scrapped or multiple photos scrapped, because I have covered both in today's video. Okay, so you saw exactly what I did with those ink pads. I literally grabbed them and I smeared them down my page, and it was instantly dry because it's an ink pad rather than paint, so it was quite a nice easy mixed media layout to make. I've just swiped them down several times. I then had to extend the colours out towards the sides a bit more, I just literally just put the ink pads on several times, and it worked really well. So I'm really happy with the way that looks. It's a bit different to me. Normally I have a very watercolour effect mixed media in my background. But today you can really see those strokes from the ink pad, which is a bit different to what I usually do, so it's again nice to try something different. So now because I have a bit of I've got these 3 photos, I kind of want them on a diagonal design, so I'm going to tip my layout, that's the white card, and have it at an angle onto the black and white paper, spotty paper, polka dot paper, by the Stamp Market that came in the June main kits. So what I did there was I just tacked on my white piece of cardstock to that background, and then I trimmed it down on my trimmer, therefore, so by tacking it in place I was able to easily trim it, and see exactly where I needed to trim it, and then I could remove the background, the white cardstock from the layout and then stick it down properly, and that meant that I could cut out a bit of the black and white paper so I could preserve it to use elsewhere. So I'm really liking the diagonal look on the layout, and then it finishes off with the kind of folded over corner in the top right, which adds to it. There you go, that's me cutting out a bit of the background there, because that way I can keep a bit of that black and white paper, which I love so much, and then I can use it elsewhere. My layout just needs putting together on the back, so I'm just reinforcing it with some regular sticky tape there. So now you can see my layout is on an angle, and I'm just going to arrange my photos a bit more into that angle to emphasize that a bit more. So I've already mounted my photos and then I've tacked them into place on my layout, but they are easily movable. The way I do that is by just putting a small amount of tape in the middle of the photo and just pressing it on. It's not enough to hold it in place permanently, but it is enough to hold it in place for a few minutes while I arrange everything else or turn the layout over or whatever. So it's a good little tip there if you're not sure about placement. That's definitely something that can work well. So from that black and white paper, I have cut up a couple of layers to go under my photos. So I've just cut them the same size, slightly bigger than my photo. So I've actually cut them to 3x4, and then I have layered them behind my mounted photos, and then I can stick them on. So these photos are, the middle photo has a bit of glare on, sorry you can't see it properly, but it's a photo of my two boys standing on the windowsill looking out of the window at a squirrel who has come to feed from the bird feeder. We love squirrels and we have loads of them in our garden all the time, and we decided to put food out for them so we could see them come and feed as well. So, and we've put it right outside our kitchen window so we can really see the squirrels when they come along and grab the food. So even though officially that's a bird feeder, officially in our house it's a squirrel feeder because we love the squirrels. And the other two photos either side of the two boys are the squirrels feeding on the bird feeder. So yeah, they're quite good. The middle photo is really cute. They're both just standing there at the window watching the squirrel outside. So very sweet moment. So because I have the three colour blocks, the pink, the orange and the blue, which are from the ink pads from the colour kit, I've gone through the rest of my kits, my June kits, and pulled out some other bits and pieces in those similar colours. Now the Pink Fresh Studio Let's Stay Home has a lot of darker blue in, and not as much of the turquoise that is the colour of the ink pad, but there is some. So I went through and found some, and then of course all the beautiful exclusives by Hip Kit Club, they have got some of this lovely blue turquoise colour in as well. So I've pulled out a few bits and pieces and then just put it in the right place. I've thought about doing a title up there saying simple things, but in the end that goes and I use something else instead. And also the pink wasn't that present in the Pink Fresh Studio either. It was kind of a lighter pink, but again the exclusives came to my rescue and we had some of the darker pinks, called almost purple, because that ink pad is a pink. It obviously is pink, but it's a cool pink. It's airing on going towards the purpley colour, so it's the purples in the exclusive packs worked really, really well. So now I'm looking for my title. I say I do away with the Simple Things title at the top and decide to go for my own title, which is going to be Visitors. So yeah, Visitors to our garden, and I'm just pulling out all of the letters that I want to use. So I was hoping for all turquoise colours letters from that little Pink Fresh Studio little alphas, but I couldn't quite make it, I think, because there's only one colour in each, so there's one letter in each colour, so I needed two eyes. So because I had a light blue and a dark blue, so it's very fine. There was some blue, there was other colour shades of blue, but because I didn't want to have one letter different to all the others, so therefore I had a bit of a mixture. So some are light blue and some are darker blue. So that works. So I've just put that under there. I've tied some thread around the tag that I've got sticking out at the bottom of my right hand photo, and I have just put together one of those lovely Pink Fresh Studio bows, which is a fabric bow, and it's the perfect colour, absolute perfect colour to match the ink pad. So I've just put that together. Now they tend to come apart, and that's because my adhesive isn't particularly strong. I think if you use something like red tape, it would be better, but my ATG gun isn't good enough to hold something that has as much stress on it as a bow like that. So I tend to just run them through my sewing machine. My sewing machine absolutely protests at this. I have to really feed it through almost manually, but it does the job, so it's alright, the machine's fine, it's not broken or anything, but it does protest a bit. So that's a really great way of getting those bows to stay in place if your adhesive is not as good as it needs to be. So I've just stamped a couple of clouds. That is from the exclusive stamp kit this month. So the lovely set with houses on also has those some cute clouds. And then from the vellum die cuts, there's a cloud in there that matches that stamp set perfectly. So the vellum die cut plus the 2 clouds stamped is really, really cute at the top there. I've added a few other vellum die cuts, add some label stickers here and there, and other bits from the exclusive ephemera packs. And there's a flat Pink Fresh Studio flower under the left-hand photo, and then I've got a little frame at the top of that photo on the left. And so now I'm just going through my other embellishments to see what else I can possibly add. The colour that I wanted for the pink was really present on the Pink Fresh Studio stickers, so I'm just going with that and picking out any bits that work, any phrases that work with this layout. So yeah, it's all coming together nicely. I'm really happy with how it's looking. I've got that diagonal feel. So I rearranged my photos slightly so that the one on the left was lower than the middle one, and the one on the right was higher, or a bit higher. So it kind of like produces like a step effect really. So I'm really happy with the way that looks. It kind of reinforced the diagonal design that's kind of going on this layout. And now I'm just having a look to see if there's any other stamps that I can add to here. I wanted to add a bit of texture to my stamping. Now I probably should have done this before I stuck everything on, but no, I'm coming in last minute and just adding a few little flowers to my stamping. So I'm going tone on tone. So I've got the pink ink pad and doing the pink flowers on the pink ink, and orange flowers on the orange ink, and blue flowers on the blue ink. Yeah, glad I got that right. Yeah, just did that a few times. A few more blue flowers there. Just to give a bit more interest really. So I have yeah, they're just, some of them are on the actual ink and some of them are above or below on the white. Some are actually on embellishments as well, so it was just to give it a bit of extra texture. So now I thought I would finish off with some sequins. There are a pack of sequins in one of the kits this month, the June kits, and they are beautiful colours, but they're all mixed together, which is of course fine. Because I'm very much doing colour on colour here, I wanted to make sure that I pulled out the right colour sequins for the right colour blocks. So I have the pink ones on the pink section, the orange ones on the orange section, and the blue ones on the blue section. I'm sure you've got that by now. So yeah, I'm happy with the way this layout turned out. I'm happy that I've managed to use 3 photos and one of them's a big photo, but I still have managed to achieve some white space, and I have got some mixed media there which doesn't look messy because my earlier attempts looked really messy and wrong. I'm really happy with that. I've also done some stitching. I did that in the previous break. I've gone around the edge of the layout, and I've also stitched down the triangle that's folded over on the top right corner. I've also stitched through the word visitors as well, just to make sure that those stay in place and don't leave the layout anytime soon. I really hate it when I find my title letters at the bottom of my page protectors. It really does my head in. So I have just stitched through quickly with the sewing machine. Sometimes I do that, or sometimes I just stick them down with glossy accents, but quite often the sewing machine is quicker than taking each letter off individually and putting down the glossy accents and sticking them back down, and it's less messy too, so I tend to do that. I'm just writing in my journaling with a black fine liner pen in the bottom right corner, and that is me done. I think I'm pretty much done after I finish writing. Yeah, thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you have enjoyed my Mixed Media Monday layout, even though it had some difficulties to begin with. I'm happy with the way that it turned out. Don't forget that if you are a Hip Kit Club subscriber, you receive the main kit at a 15% reduced price. You get 15% discount on all the add-on kits, and you get access to exclusive subscriber cut files. So lots of reasons to subscribe. Okay, thank you so much for watching. That was Niki Rowland for Hip Kit Club.